Hi, I'm Garen,
I'm JD.
and this is Investigating Comic Club, where we chronologically read, review, discuss, and rate specific crucial stories of the medium.
Indeed, and we hope that you subscribe to become a member of Comic Club yourself. Share your opinions of the stories in the comments, and stick around till the end of our discussion for our episodic comic quality poll to give your own rating A, B, C, D, and F. Today we're doing something a little bit different in support of World Suicide Prevention Day. We're going to be taking a look at DEADPOOL issue 20, written by Jerry Dugan and illustrated by Matteo Loli. I hope I am pronouncing that name right. Before we do that, Garen and I have, in our companion series of Chronological Marvel, we've told our history of getting into comic books, our first experiences with comic books. In our X-Men relaunch series by Jonathan Hickman, we told about our experience and introduction into the world of X-Men. And now I would like to actually talk about our kind of secret origin of Misfit Picture Shows and our podcast of Investigating Comic Club. So we created Misfit Picture Shows. We were working together at a bar, and we just had the desire to tell stories, to be inspired, to collaborate with others. And a lot of artists were surrounding us, and it seemed like a lot of people were waiting to get the opportunity to tell stories. So we were in a bit of a dark time, both of us, and we found that certain podcasts actually helped us get out of that funk. When we were feeling a little bit antisocial, but actually lonely, these podcasts, they kept us company. They made us smile. They made us laugh. Eventually, they inspired us. I think the first thing that I would say is the opening salvo of Misfit Picture Shows is a suicide prevention series, web mini-series called Correspondence, which is on our channel. It's a 6-episode series that focuses on the efforts made by hotline counselors and also by people that call crisis lines and the efforts and difficulties they have expressing what they're going through to a stranger over the phone. We recruited our good friend Ted Hornick to write the series for us. He is a 3-year hotline counselor, so every episode is very authentic. We also had the support of a lot of the Twin Peaks family, which is a series that we've both found great inspiration from that story. So it was special for us to have the support of so many people from that series, including Cheryl Lee, who's an actress who plays Laura Palmer in the series. And she is in Correspondence for a couple of episodes. Actually makes a cameo appearance. She's in 4 of the 6 episodes. And our good friend Magenta Harley created an original song called Out of My Head, which is an extremely brave song, very, very personal and very beautiful, that plays at the end of the credits. We hope that you guys will take a look at that series in honor of World Suicide Prevention Day, which is September 10th, and also National Suicide Prevention Month, which is September. After finishing that series, it was kind of amazing to get certain viewers confided in us that this series, there's 7 to 10 minute episodes, and these strangers are confiding in us that the series helped deconstruct the societal stigma that surrounds calling a crisis line. And after watching the series, it helped them to just call, to be brave enough to call, to ask for professional help, even if it's to as unlikely an ally as a stranger over the phone. And that is an extremely special thing. We wanted to take that a step further and have something that, how can we engage with the viewer, make the viewer a part of this? Hopefully, we entertain you guys with Investigating Comic Club, but we want you guys to become members. We want to create a family. We create company. We invite you and encourage you to subscribe, to become members. We reveal what we're going to read next week. We hope you'll read that episode. We hope that you guys will comment and get into conversations with us, with each other. The idea there, sure, these are just comic books. You know, it doesn't matter if it's a comic book. It doesn't matter if it's a TV series or a movie. If a story excites you, if it feeds your passion, if it inspires you, then yeah, celebrate it. Mm-hmm. It's so important. Mm-hmm. So all of that kind of came to a head. We created Investigating Comic Club about a month ago. Correspondence aired for the first time in February, and now the timing of this with Suicide Prevention Awareness Day, Deadpool number 20. It's interesting, one of our actors of Correspondence, one of the callers that calls in, what was it, a week after we filmed? He just sent me a text saying, guys, you've got to read Deadpool number 20.
Yeah, no, it was.
It was really unusual. Mm-hmm. Reading this issue, it's essentially a comic book version of Correspondence.
Yeah.
It's taken, with Correspondence, we tried to make it as authentic as possible, and it is. Yeah. And some people have watched it, said, wow, thank you guys for doing this. I haven't finished it because it triggers me. Yeah. It's a little too raw and real, and we get it, Jerry Dugan takes it in a very different direction. Yeah. And he says in the comments at the end of this issue, he had this spark of an idea. What if somebody that was considering suicide, Deadpool came along then? Would a hero like Deadpool be able to help that person? Yeah. And he dismissed it. He's like, no. Yeah. That's a terrible idea. Yeah. But I think as a writer, as storytellers, when you dismiss something, it flips around, hopefully, and catches you off guard as a challenge. Mm-hmm. Figure it out. Yeah. And I want to know, Mr. Guerin, Deadpool, I enjoy Deadpool a lot. Mm-hmm. He's one of Guerin's very favorite characters. And I would love to hear, before I share any of my opinions on this, what do you think?
I reread it for this.
Yeah.
But I did recall my first time reading it and getting, again, it was a week after we filmed Correspondence, so it was already like, and once I found out, Deadpool has an issue about it, and I'm like, oh, cool, so of course I'm going to read it. And I remember just reading the whole time and just having goosebumps the entire time, and having it to where not only is it the Deadpool that I know and love, that, the snarkiness, the witty, just back and forth, to where you're just
inappropriate.
Yeah, you're just like really, of all people, and Deadpool's the one, and then to read it and be like, no, you didn't make him less vulgar or less inappropriate. He was still inappropriate, and for him to be able to, for the end of it, to finish the whole issue the way it did after taking her on this whole ride, it gives me goosebumps every time I think about it. To show like sometimes people just need somebody to listen. Sometimes even if it is some random, just giving you. Kind of thing, like the people who give you the most are the ones who care.
Absolutely. Particularly, Guerin plays the counselor in the series. He's the actor who portrays the counselor. And what a bizarre sequence of events for you to be, I think, challenged in a way that your acting career hadn't presented you with yet. As this character whose job it is to try and find some type of way to express his compassion to these strangers. Very, very difficult. And then you read, a week after you portray the character, essentially Deadpool playing that part that you played. So you say that you had kind of goosebumps the entire time you read that issue. The character that you portray in Correspondence, very different towards these characters. Yeah. But at the same time, you're talking about the inappropriateness of his humor and actions and the things he says to this young woman. Yeah. Me reading it, there were times that I was laughing out loud. I felt bad for laughing out loud. I felt, that's inappropriate, JD. Don't laugh. Who the hell are we to ever tell another person through his art to express compassion to such a subject? Yeah. When there's no right and wrong to approach the subject of suicide with anybody.
Mm-mm.
All you can do is be sensitive. I've been in the place where literally I was sensitively talking to someone and did talk them out of suicide in a very, very real way, and I know it. And then there was another occurrence where I was trying to reach somebody like that, and I couldn't reach him.
Yeah.
It's difficult to talk about sometimes, but this gentleman, his mom died in the Two Towers, and he moved here to Los Angeles. And I found him in a certain moment of crisis, and I was talking to him. I couldn't get through to him. And finally I knew I was helpless, and I just said to him, what would your mom think right now about the choice that you're about to make?
Yeah.
And he just walked away from me, and I thought, I lost him. Oh man. Very, very difficult night I had.
Yeah.
The next day, this guy knocks on my door and gives me a bullet and says, I won't be needing this anymore. Thanks. As he awkwardly, like the world's most awkward, how do you even express this to something? Yeah. And how do I even express my, like, I don't even know.
Yeah.
That's too heavy.
Yeah.
But that was me, literally. The worst thing I could kind of think of to say to this guy, to smack him, hopefully back to some type of fighting.
Yeah.
So who are we to say Deadpool or Jerry Dugan, the writer? It's a difficult sometimes balance. You know, you don't want to use characters that have been around for decades and have a legacy to be your mouthpiece if it's inappropriate.
Yeah.
You know, you're putting your thoughts and your feelings into these characters that have been around for decades. There wasn't a moment that I felt, from what I know about Deadpool, and actually his first appearance I've been reading about Deadpool.
Yeah.
I was there buying New Mutants issue 98.
Yeah.
I bought that the week that it came out. I know Deadpool.
Yeah.
He is not written in any moment out of character here. It wasn't Jerry Dugan using Deadpool as his mouthpiece to support suicide prevention. He was inappropriately Deadpool.
Yeah, no, he's inappropriately Deadpool.
I would never want to fight suicide in the way that Jerry Dugan wrote Deadpool fighting suicide. I would never tell a story like that, but I applaud him. Yeah. And it's not my place to say that's inappropriate. You shouldn't have done that in a comic book. Yeah. He was given an opportunity. I don't think that he misused that opportunity in a selfish or exploitive way. Yeah. I applaud the effort.
Yeah. I remember the first time seeing the cover of this, and it looks like it takes it all in. Like that cover in itself speaks 1,000 words. You know, just them both on the
rooftop. I think this could be a poster. You know, like I think that it's elegant in its simplicity. Yeah, it communicates a lot.
I mean, the
everything.
Colors are gorgeous. The colors, the fact that she's blue.
There's something lonely about it. Lonely. They're not looking at each other. Their backs are to each other, but they're next to each other. Whew. Yeah, it's giving me goosebumps. Yeah, it's pretty. It's elegant, man.
It's elegant. It's pretty. It's like you said. It's unapologetically Deadpool, and it's not for everybody as far as that his way of going about it. But it is one of those where like we could have seen any of these heroes talk someone off a ledge, you know. And it could have been different in their own right, in their own way. Sure. But having him be like, "Go ahead, jump," but please don't do it over here. Like, please don't do it on my block. Like, do it somewhere else. You know, kind of thing. And just like, wait, are you joking about this?
No, that's a better roof.
No, it's a better roof. Go ahead. Yeah, actually, can you help me with some stuff? And then if you want to kill yourself, then you can kill yourself. You know, like sometimes somebody in certain situations, again, like you said, you've had a few where you've talked one way to someone and it worked, and you talked another way and you felt like it didn't work. With this scenario, it seemed also to sometimes people treating you just like another human. Yeah. And seeing you and actually seeing you is sometimes all you need.
And that goes into, you're absolutely correct. And how much of this should I talk about? We had the amazing support of a lot of individuals within certain entities. In an official capacity, those certain entities couldn't officially support us because some of the practices in correspondence weren't too their best practices. In that moment, we could have reached a lot more viewers. And I discussed that with our writer, Ted. You know, he was working off of an outline from me. I kind of conceived of this idea, conceived of the circumstances, we gave him a couple of ideas of the subject matter for certain characters and callers. I gave him a whole set of rules. And then him as a writer, him as an experienced actual counselor, then I gave him permission to break any rule he wanted. So me going back to him and saying, hey, how do you feel about potentially changing some of these words, some of these dialogue? He got very protective of his script. And the things I could tell you personally that affected him while he was writing it. This whole series was a very, very passionate and every single person involved gave their all. The moment that I heard protectiveness in his voice, I couldn't have been more protective of our story, his story. And that gave me the kind of confidence to go forward and say, we're not going to change this. We're not going to change a word. It is real. It might be difficult for some people to watch these two characters and this counselor say the wrong thing at the wrong moment and get hung up on. It could have happened to Deadpool. Sometimes treating individuals that are in crisis as porcelain, so delicate, sometimes that is not going to work. Sometimes you need to be inappropriate to reach them.
You need to be shook up sometimes.
The difficult thing is that there's no rule book.
No, there is.
Sometimes if you follow a rule book, they will smell a rat. And they won't want anything.
Are you reading note cards right now? I'm just another caller. I'm just another,
It's difficult, man.
And it's difficult to have that, and that's why this issue speaks so true to it, because even with the character I portrayed in correspondence, and what I was allowed to and not allowed to say, even with me saying certain things, I still felt that underline of like, some of these responses, I wish I was able to talk like Deadpool, or I was able to be like, look, just get your, face at your butt and, keep it going, kind of like, it's just like, you have more to live for than just being like, no, well, what are you doing? Okay. Line by line, to where I'm like, there's, it'll work with a % of people, but there are some where it's like, they know when they've called, they know what to kind of expect sometimes. So it's like, I don't want to feel like I'm just, this is the end of the line sometimes, or this is that final number that they're trying to call for someone to finally treat them like a human being and not just be like, oh, it's just another Tuesday. All right, Phil, it's fine. It's fine, Phil. Hey, it'll just get better tomorrow. Hey, just stop drinking. Stop thinking bad thoughts. Stop doing this. It's okay. I'm here for you. I'm just a phone call away. No, for someone to actually go, look, you got a family, you're happy with it. Life's tough. Get a helmet. Sometimes you need that. You're like, oh, you're right. What am I complaining about?
And, I'm not religious, but bless these people who are these counselors on the line. Even making mistakes, they're putting the effort in. They should talk about heroes. These people are heroes.
Oh, they're 100% heroes.
And that's a difficult thing. We've all been in those awkward moments of like, oh man, anywhere but here. I don't want to talk to this person now. That's call after call after call. They're doing it. I love in this issue, getting choked up. I love in this issue that Deadpool, he's projecting deliberately something towards this girl. I love that he's like, oh, sorry, just texting a bud. When I read that moment, I chuckled. I was like, wow, what a jerk. But that reveal at the end, that he's been texting this entire time, he knew where he was leading.
He knew what he was doing.
And I think that's, really, really special.
It made the humanity of it all. And we can keep reiterating how this was a great way to go about it without going about it. Because in going back to the work, the hotline callers, the correspondence, what they have to deal with, it's like the ranked second or third most suicides.
Them and veterinarians.
Seconds, which kind of, when I was reading this, made me think, after going, this is crazy, how could he be the one to do this? How could, he's so out there and he's going to make them kill themselves, But at the same time, with it being making them feel real, he is hearing all this stuff. And yes, he's died in comics before, but he's not someone who can die, you know? So it's, as far as, I don't even know how to word that correctly.
I think that Deadpool has had suicidal thoughts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he struggles with, at any given point, probably finding, why am I going to fight today?
Yeah.
And I don't mean physically go into battle. Why am I going to fight today to get through the day?
Yeah.
People, like you just said, counselors, veterinarians, these people, you know, they wear their heart on their sleeves. These people are emotional and emotionally extremely vulnerable, and they are putting themselves in that position time and time again. And they can relate. If someone out there is watching this and is feeling lonely, it's so important to recognize that no matter how lonely you feel, you're not alone. Genuine compassion and kindness is just a phone call away.
Yeah. No, it is.
And you do need to be brave enough to dial the number, to put an effort in, to express what you're feeling to these strangers. There is a privacy there, but there's also a coldness and a disconnect, and you have to try and connect and try and express and try and get this person to understand. But it's worth the effort, wherever you find the passion, whether it is, I can't wait for the next issue of Jonathan Hickman's X-Men. I can't wait for the next Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. I can't wait for the next Harry Potter book. Whatever it is that you find inspiration from, whatever gets you excited to make it to next week, never feel like those things are childish. Those things should be celebrated.
I think this issue in a nutshell hits all the marks, because think of this when you're reading this issue as though you are the person being saved. What does Deadpool do for you in this issue? He shows you right off the bat there's always something fun to look forward to, like JD just said. They went to see Hamilton. You're not a bad person, hence why he kills those people or hurts them for those tickets, but because why? They were drug lords and everything. So it's like
you may hate yourself.
Yes.
But you have your qualities.
You have your qualities. And at the end, there's that shot of her after beating up that guy. You are a fighter. And that is when he takes her to the hospital and said, you just experienced a night. I've showed you these 3 things, whether he doesn't say it, but how it lines up in the comic. And then B's like, it's up to you. You can go through that door, you can go kill yourself, but I'm letting you know we had a good time and I'll walk you through it. And he even ends with a joke, and he even ends with, there's always the chance that something great is waiting right around the corner. You just have to keep rounding corners. And that, in a whole, is, I think, what this issue and maybe the writer was going for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, I totally agree. And I think that it's well put that you pointed out, there's the secret where she smacks a couple of these people, which, that is targeting her inner anger in an unhealthy way. But it keeps going, and she just starts smacking stuff. She expresses that anger. Like you said, Deadpool recognizes that she still has fight in her. I think it's pretty awesome that, where you walk in there with me. It's a charming issue. Suicide is a very difficult subject to talk about. And it's, I think, difficult because there is no easy solution. I don't think people enjoy getting into conversations when you can't get some type of closure at the end of that conversation. Closure for suicide, it will always exist in our history. And certainly not talking about it won't help.
It's a conversation that needs to stop being so taboo. Anything that is brought up about correspondence, and now with this, it's the reason we do it, the reason it helps you through your day, but it shows that everybody who's come up to us and talked to us and said, I've had someone who's gone through this, I've had someone who's gone through this, I've had someone who's gone through this. It's like
everybody.
It's like, wow.
Every viewer, I think.
There's not
everybody we've talked to about.
It's so crazy how taboo it is and how unfortunately relatable it is.
It doesn't matter if you don't have someone in your life directly that has died by suicide, whether you love Robin Williams, whether you admire a certain musician.
Mm-hmm.
Suicide has affected everybody's lives.
Yeah. And knowing that sometimes you have to talk about it, and not everybody is going to be the person that is going to help you, but there is always somebody who can help you.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it says it in this issue. He says, look, I can't help you.
Yeah.
I'm not the one to help you.
I think that's so, like, infinitely responsible of Deadpool when he says, I'm not the one to help you. He has.
Yeah.
He's changed her life.
He's done that whole,
But it is about professional help. Mm-hmm. And so many people don't want to burden the people around them with their own problems. Many, many people will reach out, and because they don't get... I don't think there is a proper or improper response. They don't get a response that immediately impacts them in a way that they are desiring. It's nothing to even direct your anger at those people. Don't feel let down by them. A lot of people just don't have it in them to be able to express that. It is such a difficult thing. But if you or someone you know, there's a lot of people that are secretly suffering. And sometimes it's impossible to know who that is. The person who is suffering, they can seek and they can get professional help. And those people will say the wrong thing sometimes to them. Be prepared for that. Recognize their compassion and kindness that and their effort they're putting towards you. But recognize that you yourself needs to put the effort in and meet them halfway. And once you make that step, that dialing, that number, progress can start. And it is going to be a journey. And you're going to have to keep fighting. Compassion and kindness is a simple and maybe the most difficult thing you've ever done. Phone call away. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 1-800-273-TALK. From personal experience, it is worth the effort.
To be continued.